I lost over 7 kilograms traveling in Australia by skipping the gym, eating whatever I want, and doing whatever I want. But in today's video, I want to delve into what really caused that to happen in such a short amount of time, and why I never seem to regain any of the weight even after I left Australia. But there's no way you can possibly imagine what it is, so watch till the end to find out. So let me begin by saying that I'm not sure if you're ready to hear this, but if you're constantly to lose weight, or is it extremely difficult for you, that it may not be your fault at all. Cause when I was living in America, I tried everything, going to the gym every day, running for 2 hours without stopping, quitting all the food that I used to love, but nothing ever seemed to work. Not until a random trip to Australia. Going back home, my mom said to me, "Why did you lose so much weight? Are you sure you're okay?" Did I suddenly notice a couple critical differences about life in Australia that literally changed the way my body functioned and looked. So I put all of them into a list to hopefully find out why that happened. Disclaimer, I'm not an expert on this, and I'm just as confused as you are. But the first thing I want to bring up is waking up early. Cause Australia, man, your guys pretty much forced me to go to bed before 10 p.m. because nothing fun happens out there. My hostel literally turns off all the lights at 9 p.m. every single day, bro. And the craziest part is that most of the stores and attractions would close way before the sun even goes down. In just a couple of days, I began to literally go to bed at 9, wake up at 5 in the morning, relax and wait for the cafes to open, and that completely eliminated any chance of any of those. Why can't I fall asleep? Guess I'll watch TV and have a couple of donuts. Kind of late night snacking opportunity. And apparently there's a law in Australia saying that you can't be making unreasonable noises late at night. And that includes vacuuming fireworks. Pew pew pew, wake up everyone. And playing music at max volume to the point that even your neighbors can hear it. But that's only what I read on the internet. So can y'all tell me if that's the case? But the second suspicion I had, which might or might not have caused my personal weight loss, actually made a bit of sense the more I look into it. And that is the lack of sugar-filled, terrible quality food like the ones we have in the US. Why does Australian food taste like genuine food, but American food tastes like you're being tested like one of those lab animals, bro? So my family has a history of diabetes, and that means an excess amount of sugar can literally send me into the afterlife, bro. But that's never an issue for me in Australia. And that got me thinking, how they say in America, an entire day's worth of sugar is often added to a single serving of the processed food, to the point that some of the states may begin to ask you to put on a label just so the others will know that that's too much sugar, bro. Y'all need to take a break, man. And since Australia is quite pro-consumer as compared to the US, I suspect the amount of sugar allowed in your everyday food is also limited by the law. And I couldn't believe how Aussies managed to make their coffee sweet without putting in any of those artificial flavors, unlike a certain brand in America, which is crazy to think about. But nothing will be as crazy as the next difference I noticed in Australia right away. And that is that snacking is not as common in Australia as what I saw. When was the last time you saw your Aussie mate walking around with a massive bag of chips in their hand? Almost never, right? And it's not as easy to get your hands on a massive bag of potato chips as compared to the US, especially in the suburb, where the Woolies, Aldi, whatever is in between, closest to y'all can still literally be on the other side of town. Also, the one massive difference I noticed is that the same snack or similar ones, even though they're made in Australia, Indonesia, Vietnam, those kind of places, are so expensive over here as compared to the US, where the questionable food is oftentimes more affordable than the so-called normal food, which possibly stops a lot of Aussies from having a snacking habit. But since we're talking about the snack, I want to point out the food portions of restaurants in Australia are nowhere near the enormous size in the US and what I saw. And that goes for even the same restaurant and bread, down to the same burger and fries. I noticed the portion can literally be about 20 to 30% less, but still, you don't feel like you're eating less food, which is the crazy part. Like, somehow you can eat a lot of food in America, but still be hungry. But when you eat enough in Australia, Australia, y'all actually feel like you're finished. There has to be some chemical reason for that. Bicycle lanes of Australia. It's so easy to get around the city and into the bush instead of driving and waiting for a bus, as y'all can simply hop on the bike and travel at your own pace. Walking is another common thing to do in Australia. People go out and walk even in the evening, not to mention the distance between the train or bus station can sometimes be massive. And most of the time, the place you want to go to, like a zoo, a theme park, or a famous cafe on social media, all happen to be in the middle. So y'all may still have to walk for tens of minutes or even longer just to get there. And y'all also need to give kudos to the Australian weather being pleasant most of the time. Now, I know your summer can literally bake people alive, but with a pair of sunglasses and enough sun protection, walking in Australia is genuinely the most exciting thing for a tourist coming here. But up next, this tiny little difference that, frankly, I didn't even notice until leaving Australia has to be the lack of sauces on top of everything you eat. When my non-American friends visited New York City for the first time, they were absolutely shocked by how syrup and other sweeteners were added to every single food, even vegetables, even sandwiches, even the barbecue. Mamma mia! Because it is such a low-cost way to make the food more addictive and tasty. Y'all can go to the supermarkets in the US and even the organic bread. They're supposed to be the healthy one. Even they've got the crazy layer of artificial sweetener. In Australia, I noticed Aussies rarely put anything unnecessary into the food. Even the chips, like, y'all guys just eat it as it is. Peer pressure in Australia, bro. Is it just me? But why are the majority of young Aussie lads in the city in such good shape? I know that data says that about 1 in every 3 adults in Australia can be considered obese. But in cities like Melbourne, the majority of men and women are literally in such good shape. And they're talking about, you know, going to the gym, playing sports, getting their friends to have a relaxing walk, which is the exact opposite of what Americans do on their weekends. So it's not difficult to subconsciously say no to a snack for dessert just to stay in better shape and not feel out of place in Australia. There's a fun little joke about America saying how the moment you visit here, you almost go down 2 sizes. I'm saying, bro, if you try going on American cruise lines and theme park and stuff, they almost instantly make you feel crazy fit and thin. But I still want to believe that it's a combination of those that I've mentioned that led to my crazy weight loss in Australia, as I'm really too lazy to walk. So it can't simply be, oh, you're a tourist, you go to places, you'll burn a lot of body fat. No. But I want to know, is it also the case for anyone coming here? Did y'all also lose a decent amount of weight? Let me know in the comments, bro. But losing weight is not the only magical thing about Australia, cause in the next video, I want to go over the biggest difference in Australian culture that puts the entire world to shame. But the only way to find out is to check out the video.